Good morning, everybody. This is Jackie Calixte. I'm on here live with Felicia Marshall, and we're going to be talking a little bit about her business, Best Choice Senior Placement, and also a little bit about me. And basically, really, what this is about is this is just a support group, a free web page where businesses can support, advise each other. Each week, we feature local business owners and expertise weekly on Facebook Live. For myself, I do websites and I do apps. So if you know anybody who needs a website or an app, please send them my way. And my feature presentation this week is Felicia Marshall. And she's just basically going to talk a little bit about her business, what she does, how she got started, all that fun stuff. And I did a little video for her. So before she goes on, let me play it here. I love it. So let me give you the spotlight. And I guess I want to know a little bit about how you got started in this interesting field.
Mhm.
And if you can tell us a little bit about your bio, how you started your company. Um, I think it's great info, and it's great for people to know that businesses like this are there, and especially right now in this pandemic, and you're dealing with senior care.
Yes. Good morning, everybody. I'm Felicia Marshall, registered nurse, certified dementia practitioner. I've been nursing now for about 10 years, and I've always done geriatric nursing. I got a little RN, ER nursing, and a little med surg nursing in, but my bread and butter has always been geriatric nursing. So about 5, 6 years ago, I got into hospice nursing, and I was introduced to group homes at that time. And I go in and see a lot of hospice patients in all kinds of settings. So in the nursing home, in the assisted living, in their private residences, and in these group homes. And I just noticed that for those patients who are needing a little more attention or a little more tailored care, that those smaller settings in the group home seem to do them well. So as I progressed, I guess, in my hospice career, and I got to case manage and take care of lots of patients, a lot of families would ask questions about potentially moving their loved one into some place that would be able to give them more one-on-one attention and more tailored care. So I knew of the group homes, and I would recommend them to the families. So last year, we're actually coming up on a year anniversary for our business. June 27th, we'll be open a year. We started this business, my husband and I, Willie Marshall. My husband is a certified nursing assistant, and I'm the nurse. And we've just been educating families and guiding them towards the smaller alternative. I think there's a lot of representation already out there for the bigger facilities, but not so much for the little guys. And that's why we started to educate people and let them know that this is an option if you are looking for something smaller, so 6 patients or less, um, in a home. And most of the homes we work with are owned and operated by my fellow RNs, which is a plus in my book. Um, but
Definitely.
some
It's
of the homes,
fantastic.
yeah, some of the homes, the nurses actually live with the residents. So that too is a double plus in my book.
For
And
sure.
they're a lot cheaper, some of them, than the traditional nursing care. So,
And also, like nursing homes right now, a big part of the whole pandemic, the big ones got hit really badly.
mhm.
So I would think there's a great advantage to having a smaller space where, it's like in any big space, the whole thing with social distancing, The smaller ones are actually allowing the social distancing component part of it. It's just like really a family, if you think,
Right, right.
right?
Yeah, so I found it interesting that our governor was wanting us to social distance, but when you have a large facility that has 70, 80 patients in it, how do you really social distance? And then the workers are going from one room to the next room to the next room. I mean, I don't know,
Exactly.
it's very difficult. So I like the smaller alternative because six patients or less. And a lot during that time, I know people were saying that the governor said that you had to take in residents no matter what their COVID status was. But I know for a fact a lot of places were not accepting COVID patients during that time. Yeah, the smaller places were straight up telling me they're not going to take the COVID patients at their place because they wanted to protect the current residents that they had. So it's something to be said about small versus big.
It
In my,
really is. I mean,
Mhm.
just this current situation we're in, it definitely benefits the patients to be in a small environment. To even the fact that when you're in a smaller environment, it's more like hands-on, it's more attentive. It's it's like the person can get better personalized care. It would make sense if I had a loved one in that situation. That would honestly be the best place for them. I can't really see what a bigger facility would be bringing it, what would be a better advantage for a bigger facility. And including on top of that, they're more expensive. The bigger facilities are more expensive.
Yeah, so I speak with a lot of families, and sometimes they just want the bells and the whistles. So the bigger places, of course, have, I guess, more amenities.
Okay.
Um, so they do more, maybe more activities, or um, they have restaurant style dining, or things like that that people
Right.
may
Oh, I
be
see.
more important to them. But I
Right.
think the bigger facilities are okay in my book if our patient is still able to assist themselves. So assisted living means that you should be able to assist yourself. But when you get to the point when you are in bed, bed bound, and totally dependent on somebody else to take care of all your ADLs, which are your activities of daily living. So brushing your teeth, going to the bathroom, combing your hair. If you depend on others to do that, I don't think the assisted living is the appropriate place. I think that the smaller facilities are better equipped to take care of someone in that state. So that's
So
my spiel.
the so basically, if it's more like you're able and capable, then the
Mhm.
assisted living is fine. But if
Yeah.
you're not, then
Yes.
a small environment is better. It's more
Yes.
effective.
That's
That
my opinion.
that, that makes a lot of sense. It really does.
Mhm.
And then, how long have you been running your business for?
So we are coming up on 1 year, June 27th. We'll be celebrating our 1 year
Congrats.
anniversary of being in business. So it's been an interesting year, ups and downs, but I really do feel good about the work that we're doing. And so far, so good. We haven't had any issues with anybody we've placed, and we've gotten good feedback from the families.
And what's the biggest lesson for you as a business owner? What have you learned from this?
Well, there's a lot of lessons. So my first lesson, we started this business and I had no idea what networking was until I
Yes.
went to the nail shop one day and a lady, we were just talking. I was like so excited about this business we started. It's brand new. I gotta try to meet people. And she's like, "Well, do you network?" And I'm like, I don't know what networking is. What is that? And she invited me to this networking event, and then it kind of like snowballed where I was going to all kinds of networking events and have met so many good people. So thank you to Lynn Kapura is her name. She's a real estate agent, and I had never even known that this was a thing to network. And I don't know. I'm just learning that you have to build trust with people so that they want to do business with you. And it doesn't really matter what my title is. If people don't trust me, they won't use me. So I've learned that too.
Oh my God, Felicia, that's the same thing with me. That is my biggest takeaway, honestly, is building trust. And the funny thing is, you see that there's a need for your service, you
Hmm.
see that it will benefit people, and you can tell the people who need your service, but
Hmm.
people are really hesitant to utilize you. Like for me with websites and apps, I
Hmm.
think like websites and apps are just phenomenal. I get really excited about it. And then see a customer, they have no web presence. And now with the pandemic, you really need to have a digital and you need to have a physical. But both of them go hand in hand. And people are scared of the change.
Yeah.
And to convince business owners that this is going to be something that's going to be great for them, it's going to free up their time, they're going to get more clients, they're going to make more money. Sometimes they're looking at me like, and then the biggest thing, like what you just said, it really, it's not the product, it's not that they need it, it's they really have to get over the trust. It's
Yes,
the
it's
trust.
the trust for sure.
Isn't that crazy? Like
Yeah.
humans, like it's just that basic thing. It's not even the product, it's just, can they trust you?
Yeah, and I understand it too because I know that I'm dealing with their loved ones' lives essentially, and a bad placement could be sometimes maybe it could be the difference between life and death, depending on where they are and who the people that are taking care of them. So I understand. We're like the new kids on the block, I guess. Like, can we really trust them? Do they really know? But I definitely don't treat my clients like they're just another person for me to, I guess, make money off of. Our elders to us mean a lot, and if we weren't able to place our own loved one in the places that we refer, we wouldn't place our clients there either. So that's the difference too. Like with our company, we've dealt with all the homes that we refer. I've had hospice patients in all of these homes. So it makes me feel more comfortable to give my clients the referral because I've had positive outcomes in the past. I guess that's what kind of sets us apart from the bigger placement agencies.
And what are some of the services that you offer?
So the services we offer, well, before the pandemic, I was assessing every patient in person, but that has become a challenge. So now I'm doing over the phone assessments with the families, and doing like a full health assessment to see what are the needs of the patient, the senior loved one. And then we go through and see what area the family would like to be in, what is their budget, of course, and then we book the appointments for them and we go with them to the facilities. So we don't just, send them a list of places to go check out and tell them to call us when they're done. We're with them every step of the way and are there to answer their questions because we're familiar with the facilities in the first place. And it's a free service. It's a free service. I'll do air quotations, because they don't pay us out of pocket, but we are paid from the facilities once the patient gets placed.
Okay, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And oh, I just got a brain freeze. So
Uh-oh.
you provide the evaluations for the loved ones, you perform the analysis of the homes,
Mhm.
consultation. How many homes are you overseeing right now?
So right now, we don't own the homes. We just collaborate with them to try to get patients into the homes.
Right.
Right now, we're working with 27 homes between Macomb counties and Oakland County. And I'm finding I'm working more in Macomb County than Oakland County these days, but that's fine.
Awesome.
And
Awesome.
most of the homes, like I said, are owned by RNs, and some of them they actually live there, so, which is awesome to me.
And we have a question from a Facebook user. Stephen, thanks for asking. He says, "Good morning, Felicia. Where are you located?"
Good morning. We are located in New Baltimore, Michigan. But we go wherever the client wants to meet us. So family members like to meet at, I don't know, all kinds of places, coffee shops or at their own homes. We go wherever they want us to come to.
Fantastic, fantastic. And right now, are you offering anything? Do you run any specials or promotions?
No, because our service is free, I guess.
That's true.
We don't run any promotions.
Right.
I just well, lately we've just started to feature a home every week. So last week I featured a home that is owned by one of my RN buddies, and she's an RN of 28 years, and she's got some beds available, but like she dropped her price down from 3,800 to 3,000 a month, which is a good deal if you're needing that type of care for a loved one. So I featured her. Yeah, I did a live with her last week and we talked about all the services that she provides in the home. And tomorrow I'll be going to another one of my RN friends who lives in her home that she runs. And I'll be talking with her about her services. So that's what we're doing, just featuring a different house every week so people can see the inside. Because I've had a lot of families who they reach out, but their schedules are not allowing them to come out and see the home. So,
I think that's a fantastic idea because you
yeah.
don't know, like for myself, I'm learning. I saw the Facebook Live you had with that house. I
Hmm.
didn't know what to expect. Like, what does it look like? And
Hmm.
what I loved about it, it's just a home.
It's a home,
It's
yeah.
a home. It's a home. It's a kitchen, and the kitchen was fantastic. It's clean.
Hmm. Very clean there.
You see the patients, and they're just sitting watching TV.
Hmm.
So it's if if I have a loved one, I want them in a home atmosphere where it's familiar, it's cozy, and it's small and intimate. I think it's a fantastic idea. And I'm kind of thinking that this actually might be something that might kind of catch on where people are placing them in small environments. And COVID has really changed a lot of things, but I'm thinking it's going to impact senior care in a totally different way.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, our seniors here in Michigan really got the short end of the stick when it came down to COVID care and them being placed, or if they were in a larger facility, the COVID patients that were coming out of the hospital would be placed in the same facilities as these senior citizens who are already compromised, which to me was not a good decision on the government's part. I don't think that they should have placed these individuals who had this very, very, very contagious virus in a facility with patients who are already compromised, which is why they are in those facilities to begin with. And then they don't have the proper tools to take care of them. So that's why I think the numbers were so high with the number of elderly individuals in those nursing facilities who contracted the virus and some who ultimately died from it. So I don't think we did a good job here in Michigan with the care of our elders in that regard.
We didn't. And from those lessons learned, actually, oh, this is great because Stephen's actually asking this question. What are some of the changes with care since the pandemic?
So, changes with care since the pandemic. Visitation, that's the big one. Lots of visitors are not able to come into the facilities right now. If you are able to get in, so me as a healthcare provider, some places will allow me to come in, but I have to have my temperature checked. You have to answer questions about if you've traveled in the past, I don't know, 14 days, or if you've been in contact with anyone who has the COVID-19 virus. Um, and with care for the patients, I'm noticing a lot of disposable things are being used now. So they're not using the same blood pressure cuff on the next person. I'm noticing they're using just the one-time use ones that you throw away. They're kind of flimsy looking, but they get the job done. Things like that I've seen with the care now of our seniors.
And what's the takeaway for you? Like, how would you like this to change? Since Michigan did not do a really good job with taking care of its seniors, what do you
I,
think is the thing that we need to do to kind of like, I mean, there is going to be a second wave, and maybe this is pushing us in a better direction, maybe, you know?
hmm hmm
What would you like to see happen with your experience?
So I think I'm praying that we don't have a second wave. But if we do, I think they need to utilize the centers that they built up, those makeshift hospitals that they put down at the TCF Center, and I think the other ones out in Novi at the Suburban Showcase.
Mhm.
I don't think you quarantine people who are compromised with people who have the virus that you don't want them to catch. It doesn't make sense to me. I think the ones that had the virus who were well enough to be discharged from the hospital needed to be placed in TCF or in the suburban showcase until they were deemed to be coronavirus free, and then move them to wherever you'd like them to go, and still quarantine them once you get them into the proper facility. I don't think they should have mixed the coronavirus patients with the elderly. It didn't make sense to me that they did
And a big part of it is resources. Like our
that.
state is poorly positioned.
Mhm.
Like for me, I'm always looking out for like lessons learned. What can we take away from this, and how can we do better?
Mhm.
So I'm trying to figure out for senior care, is it in the state's best interest to actually support more homes, more senior homes, the way that you're doing it?
I believe so. And that's another thing I'd like to, I guess, dive into as I further this business is like Medicaid will cover your nursing home room and board, but they won't cover the the AFC homes that we work with, which I don't know why. A lot of the homes that we work with are much cheaper than the larger nursing facilities, and then the care is better. I think it would behoove the state to maybe start covering these smaller places because I think it would save money in the long run, especially if they are run by people who are already clinical professionals. I know a lot of the large places are owned by, I call them penguin suits in their offices, who maybe have no clinical background whatsoever. They're just business people who know that senior care is a big business. You know, we're getting into taking care of our baby boomers, and we're not prepared to do it, in my opinion. I don't know. I think that the state.
How do we contact the state to kind of just, advocate for something like this? This thing's really, because I find that common sense is not so common, right? Like
No, I've
it makes
reached out.
sense. Like
I've
when
reached
you
out
see
to people.
board, like it's smaller, it's intimate, it's cheaper. I mean, there's all these pluses.
Yeah.
Why would the Medicaid cover it? I mean, unless it's something where it's financial, maybe they make more money. I think this is where we need somebody from the healthcare facilities to advise. I,
Yeah.
Tom Volberg, he's one of my business associates. I'm trying to ping him to get his insights.
Yeah,
He
I don't know why they would. It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't know. I've reached out I've written Governor Whitmer. Of course, I didn't hear back anything. And I've reached out to one of the top nurses that advises the governor, and she spoke with me briefly, but kind of gave me like a dance around the answer type question. So I didn't really get far, but um I don't know why they wouldn't. It doesn't make sense. I think it would save money too because a lot of the issues that come from being in these places is people falling or people getting UTIs or urinary tract infections, and it's not taken care of right away. They have to be rushed to the hospital. So there goes a big bill. The bill to even get into the ambulance is a big bill. I think if we can keep down falls, keep down urinary tract infections, or take care of them at the beginning, then we cut down on a lot of hospital stays, which I think, in my opinion, would save maybe millions, if not billions of dollars. But I'm just a nurse. I'm not really a
See, but you are right
legislator.
there on the front lines, so
Mhm.
you understand the problem, and you actually, I find, probably have the best solution. The
Mhm.
the people at the top are so removed from the actual issue, and then they're the ones who are making the decisions.
Yeah,
And they're not
like
there.
I have another pet peeve that bothers me too. In the larger places, they're no longer able to use rails on the side of the bed. I
Mm.
don't know, some politician or something made a law that it's a restraint to have rails on the side of the bed. Well, a lot of these individuals who are in nursing facilities, maybe not so much assisted livings, they have cognitive issues. They either have Alzheimer's, dementia, or both, or other issues that make them not able to make sound decisions. So sometimes people will forget that they can't walk anymore, or forget that their lower extremities are too weak to carry them anymore, and they'll attempt to stand and they'll fall. So if we had bed rails in place, that'll be less likely that they'll be able to do these type things. But somebody somewhere said that it's a restraint and they have a right to, you know, get up out of the bed when they want to, but then they have a right to fall and break fragile bones too. So I don't know. I don't agree with that. But they are used in the AFC homes that we work with, which makes me happy that we can protect those seniors a little better than they do in those places.
Oh my gosh, Felicia. And that's where the common sense is not so common. Like,
Yeah,
as a mom, when my kids were little, I had rails to protect them.
yeah,
It's for protection because they're cognitively, they have nightmares, they're terrible sleepers,
yeah,
they toss and
yes,
turn, you know, they sleepwalk sometimes.
yeah.
So it's for protection. It's like those people are not in a state where they're fully functioning. That's why
No.
they care. So you have to protect them.
Yes. I
Oh,
don't know what brought this change. Because when I first started nursing, I want to say we did have rails in the nursing home and assisted living, because I worked in nursing homes and assisted livings. But somewhere along the line, things changed and we couldn't use rails anymore for whatever reason. But I feel like it's caused a lot of people to have a lot of pain and broken issues. I think they need to bring those back, but I don't know who made that decision. I don't know how to change that.
I'm sorry I'm covering your face here, but I have a question. This question is from Tom Vorberg, and he's asking
Uh-huh.
several questions. How many of
Okay.
your residences have long-term care insurance? How
Okay.
has COVID affected your business?
Mm-hmm.
What should people know about selecting a facility? And what
Mm-hmm.
questions should be what is staffing requirements for these facilities? I'll hide it. Those are great questions, by the way. Thanks, Tom. Let me thank him.
Okay, I should have. Can you put those questions back up so I can answer them all? Okay, so how many residents have long-term insurance?
Yeah.
Okay, how many residents have long-term insurance? I have not run into a lot of patients who have it. It's my understanding that the long-term insurance is pretty expensive. The homes that we work with also are cash pay homes. So I know people do have long-term insurance. I have run into a couple, but not as many as you would think have that type of benefit. I think it's because of the cost. I'm
Um,
being
and I
honest.
am asking Tom if it is expensive because that's what he deals with. He deals with insurance, and I've learned with insurance, I
Mm,
so many things I didn't know about insurance that I've learned from this group. So, like, I didn't understand that if you, and this is off topic, but I didn't understand that if you go with like the popular ones, it's a lot
mm-hmm.
more expensive, but if you go like with the smaller insurance companies, then you can shop for multiple insurance to get the better rate. I
Um,
had like, I think it was Allstate, and
mm-hmm,
saved like $200 a month going to somebody else. So there's so many things with insurance that you don't know about. People
mm-hmm.
don't understand it because they're not educated about it. And this is why I like these things that I do, like online, just to educate people about different options. Like with you, you don't have to go to, your regular senior care. You can actually go to a small private home. Some people don't know that.
No, a lot of people
And
don't.
it actually has all these great benefits. It's cheaper, it's more intimate, it's a home, there's a registered nurse.
Mhm.
Wow, this is fantastic. For me personally, I would think that is the better option if you're in that state. Like if
Right.
you are unable to, do regular things, that's where you should be. But that was a great question. I'm waiting for him to answer. So
What was the other questions that he put up? I should have write them down
no,
or something.
no, I'll put
Okay.
it. How
Okay.
has COVID affected your business?
So COVID has affected my business because I'm not able to get into a lot of the larger facilities like I used to see patients or to assess them. Like my favorite part of my business is doing the head-to-toe assessment of the client. That's my favorite thing to do. And right now it's not been easy because they're not allowing a lot of visitors into these places. So that's been my challenge, trying to figure out how I can still perform a thorough assessment to make sure that we get the patient into the best place.
Okay, yeah, that is tough. And I'm trying to think from my remote tools what to recommend. But the only thing really is, like what you're doing, the Facebook Live. Really,
Yeah.
yeah, that's really the only thing. Let's see about the other. Um,
Okay.
what should people
This is
know
a good
about selecting a facility?
This is a good one. So I always tell my families we want to know the patient to caregiver ratio. That's very important. So how many patients does each caregiver have assigned to them? I want to know, is this facility licensed by the state or are they not licensed? Because there are three things that you have to provide to be licensed by the state. I think it's room and board, personal care, um, and what's the third? Room and board, personal care, and
Do they pay for meals too?
well, the room and board, your boarding is
Oh,
considered your meals. Yeah. So if you don't do all three of these things, then you don't have to be licensed by the state. Also, too, I always tell my families we want to look up if they are licensed. We want to look up on the LARA website, so LARA website, to see what the state is saying when they come out to perform their survey. Because the state comes out every year, every other year to these homes on a schedule to see what's been going on in the homes. They do what's called a survey, which means that they are going through the charts, they are talking with the residents and their family members. And if they see things that are going against what the state recommends, then they will give that home or facility a ding. And they'll explain why they did it. So I always am reading to see what the state is saying about these facilities, if they've had people fall, if they've had people who had to go to the hospital, things like that, they will report it. So that's something that I tell families to look at also.
and to your answer about long-term insurance,
Hmm.
Tom replied, it depends on the benefit. It can be, however, in comparison with the cost of assisted living or nursing home. Oh, oh, he's saying with the cost of assisted living or nursing home cost, it is not that expensive.
Oh, it's not okay.
Yeah, maybe he
Uh,
can come in and talk more because this is what he does. He lives and breathes this, so he understands it really well. And that's really great information to know too.
hmm What?
And then what is your staffing requirements? That was the last question.
what is staffing requirements? So, in my opinion, I think a good um, patient to caregiver ratio is 6 to 1. So 6 patients to 1 caregiver. I know what the state says that their ratio is 12 to 1, but there's a difference between what the law says and what people do. I worked in long-term care in a facility where I was the only nurse for 32 patients, and I had 1 aide with me. So that ratio made 16 patients to us, two caregivers, 16 patients to 1 caregiver. So um, I I don't know how they get around
I
doing what they're supposed to, but they do. I worked that shift for 3 years, and it's supposed to be 12 to 1. It wasn't. So,
That's crazy. Oh
yep,
my God. How can you possibly, like, on the nurse's side, from the mental to the physical to the bandwidth, it's too much. And
it
then on
was.
the patient side, it's like, are they really getting the best care they can possibly get? Because there's so many other people that one person is taking care of.
We couldn't. I mean, and I'd leave work feeling very defeated because I know that I didn't provide the care that I wanted to, but I only have 2 hands, and I'd
Yeah.
have to tend to my patient who was more acute or who was more sick. And if you were deemed to be more stable, then I couldn't pay that much attention to you. I had to pay more attention to my one who was not really doing that well. So um, it's something that we nurses deal with, especially in those settings, a
Yeah.
lot. Cannot provide the care that we've been trained to do because big business doesn't want to hire more staff. If I can get 2 people to do it and I know that really 4 people should be doing it, I'm going to save, money on salary and not hire those other 2 people to do it. So,
And it puts you guys in a terrible position because you are trained to be caregivers. You care. So
oh,
it's like it really weighs on you, on yourself that,
yes.
this is not what you were trained to do, which is provide care, not be so much a business. Um, I feel for you, like I do, because my family, most of them are nurses, so I know all the stories that are involved in, unfortunately, in this industry. A lot of really sad stories. Um, and that's why I love your business model. I think it's fantastic. I really appreciate what you do. I think it's a
Thank
great
you.
business, and I think it's so relevant right now. And that hopefully the Medicare and the state reconsiders it because it's
Hmm.
an option for seniors to provide them better care. Because after all, we want them to have better care. Those are our people, and at the same
Yeah,
time, it's in the best interest because it's cheaper, which to me is the part that I don't get because government and big business is about the dollar, the bottom line.
yeah.
Cheaper.
But yeah,
Why
I
wouldn't they embrace it? I don't get it. I
I
wish
was
somebody could answer that question for me. That would be great.
I was talking with a social worker yesterday who called me about someone and was asking, do you know of any place that is pretty reasonable? And I said, yeah, I have a place that's out in Shelby. It's 1,500 a month. And she's like, what? Like she couldn't believe it because the average cost to start is usually around 3,000. So, and it goes up from there. I've had people who we've removed from places that are paying well over 10 grand a month for care, and it wasn't even in a private room. It was a semi-private room, and they were paying over $10,000 a month. So it goes up. I guess the ritzier the facility, you're paying the overhead, I think.
You're
When
paying
you pay all that money, yeah.
for the pretty flowers, you're paying for the grounds, but you're
Yeah,
not really paying for, and you're paying for someone's salary, but you're
yeah,
not paying for the care of your loved one.
yeah, which is number one in my book. I really don't care about the aesthetics, and we do teach our families that too. The aesthetics, it's nice to look at, but at the end of the day, when your loved one needs to go to the bathroom, the marble fireplace isn't the one that's going to take them. It's the caregiver that is walking around and looking after them. So it's nice to look at these things, but is it really worth it? Well, is that more important than the care of your loved one?
Exactly. And I guess this is just to educate people that they do have options and options are out there, and to advocate for those options for their loved ones too. Like, let's say they want to use Medicare, to advocate, like make sure you put your voice out there so they know that these are the options that you want for your loved ones. And it makes sense. It's gr- better for the patients, it's better for the nurses, it's cheaper, it's personalized with the pandemic. It's also it's social distancing, and it just makes common sense.
To me, it does.
I bet you and me it does. Understanding, what decision makers are looking at, but the only thing I've really found is they're so removed. Like, people who make decisions are never the ones on the front lines.
Oh
They're,
no.
and then they're not seeking the knowledge either to find out from you being a nurse. They're not
Hmm.
like, Felicia, what do you think? Because
Hmm.
they think they know better.
Yeah, I'm still actually a hospice nurse every Saturday, so I'm still out in the community, going into these places and seeing what is going on the inside. So I'm definitely in tune with what they're doing inside of these facilities. So I tell my clients the honest truth, based on what I know and what I see.
That's awesome. That's a great conversation, Felicia. We have been going for like 40 minutes. I learned so much. I think it's awesome. Uh,
Thank you.
I loved your business. I am wishing you all the best. I think you're are an amazing individual, and people can learn lots of things from your business. If I know anybody, I'll definitely refer them to you. And if anybody knows anybody, please send them to Felicia, and I'll post your information on our Facebook group, and I'll share the video with as many people as I can. And I would love to set up your next door profile, your website, all that stuff. Get
Thank you. Yes,
there
we're
so
working on that.
people know about you and what you do. It's really it's a it's a it's a service to the community, and it makes sense. It really does. Yeah. But I think we are up on the hour. I don't see any more questions. We did get some really fantastic questions. So I appreciate Tom Boberg and also Stephen. Thank you guys for asking. And I'm looking over here because my other screen. And oh, wait a minute. We have another one. Let's see what this one is. Stephen says, Felicia and Jackie, thanks for the great information. Thanks,
Oh,
Stephen.
thank
Thanks for
you for the
joining.
question.
Those were
For
awesome
the
questions.
questions.
Really, really great conversation. And
Yes, and if you can't tell, I can talk about this all day.
I love it. I could talk to you all day and learn about all the ins and outs. And um, uh, I wish, somebody will see it that can actually send it to people who make decisions. And
Yes, that would be excellent.
yeah,
I
I
don't know,
don't
but
Yeah, and if they can come to nurses and ask nurses, what do you guys think? How can we make this better for our seniors?
yes.
Yeah.
Nurses and certified nursing assistants, because
Yeah,
we're the ones at the bedside more than anybody else.
exactly. So you know what's the best for the patients, and you
Mhm.
have the best solutions, honestly, I think. Like, each time I go, anytime I'm in the hospital for whatever, childbirth, whatever operations, nurses are just amazing. They're just amazing individuals. I
Yes.
always remember the ones that helped me deliver, the ones that walked me through this particular situations. It's the care, the heart, and that's really important. They know they're coming from that place.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome, awesome stuff. Well, thanks, Felicia. I'm gonna play my little outro video, and that's it for us this week. Oh boy, I don't know what I did. I pressed something, but it didn't really